Thank you, Professor Clark, for this really eloquent presentation summarizing how the smart city space is evolving in the US, and particularly with reference to smart cities, data monetization issues. How do we engage with AI and some of the opportunities and challenges surrounding that? With that, as Dean El Khoury highlighted, our goal is also to zoom out and look at international experiences and learn and debate about what is the model that we are looking in smart cities. So Nathalie Crutzen is a professor and is the next keynote speaker, is from HEC LIEGE, University of Lake Management School, specializing in sustainable urban management. She's the founder and academic director of the Smart City Institute, which I am long a fan for some time, focusing on the transition of cities and territories towards sustainability. Her publications have been featured in top journals like Ecological Economics and Technological Forecasting and Social Change. And as of last evening, I checked, she has been cited over 3,500 times, which is an astounding achievement. Professor Crutzen has secured over 6 million euros in research funding and collaborates globally with universities and organizations on sustainability and strategic urban management. She has been a visiting scholar at York University School of Business, Nottingham University, and the University of South Australia. So please, Professor Crutzen, take away and tell us about how Europe and other places are looking at smart cities. Thank you.
Hello, good morning. So the sound is very good. So I'm very glad to be here. So I'm from Belgium, originally French speaking, but I have been, of course, traveling a lot over the last 20 years. So very glad to be here. I will just double check the technical things for the presentation. So yes, I think it's not very... Yeah, so it should be solved. So yes, I'm very glad to be here, and as it has just been introduced, I will use another angle. So I'm from a management school, so I'm a management scientist. So I have, of course, interacted a lot with a lot of urban planners, a lot of engineers in data sciences, computer sciences over the last 20 years. But I am a management scientist, and I will share with you today the experience we had in Belgium with the Smart City Institute, which was founded in 2015 to really complement research and insights on smart city, which were mainly from other disciplines, urban science, engineering, data sciences, with management science perspective. So here is how I have organized my speech today. Sorry, I'm trying to manage both. So I will briefly, so very briefly, reconceptualize and redefine what is smart city for us. So I'm sure you are all very familiar with the concept, and so maybe you can think, okay, we don't want her to recontextualize and redefine smart city, but for me, I am sure this is over important because the term has been used a lot in a lot of ways, a lot of perspective. So I will recontextualize it and redefine it according to my experience. And then I will explain you what we have been doing at the Smart City Institute over the last decade. And my main message will be the key insights and learnings I would like to share with you. So I have tried to summarize 5 key messages that come from our research that I would like to share with you this morning. So, for the context, so as you know, we are facing a lot of global trends. I won't come back to that, but demographic, societal challenges, urbanization, is it working? Yeah. And the digital technologies. And the point is that, yes, it's clear that we are all confronted as a world to new imperatives, new expectations, and new possibilities. And Jennifer just told it, the scale of the cities, however we define a city, so probably also there are differences between a European or a European vision and maybe an American or an Asian vision, but the cities have specific challenges regarding these territories. So we are facing huge governance issues, mobility issues, energy issues. How do we live in terms of building? How do we live together in physical places after this digital revolution? How do we manage our resources, etc.? So we are in a world which is characterized by all these challenges. Our cities are a very interesting scale to study these specific challenges. And the smart city movement can be seen or not, so there are some critical perspective on that, as a possible answer to this challenge. So that's the contextualization of smart city, but what is a smart city in this context? And actually, I have been working on smart city and traveling a lot to discuss smart city over the last 15 years. Smart city is a very powerful concept, but a very complex and very complicated concept too, because there are many, many definitions. I have been traveling and I have also been speaking to a lot of audience, practitioners, academic audience. Each audience, each area has its own definition. So, and it can be on a continuum from a very, very purely technique and technocentric vision to a very broad and very large vision of what a smart city could be. So that's a very important point we have, I think, to share today, is that smart city, there is no common definition of what it is. And it's very important to always understand the meaning of the smart city project in the city you are in. So I have put some definition here, but that's not the point I want to make. What I want to tell you is that for me, a smart city is a process, and for me, there is no smart city. So it's like an ideal we have to tend to. Some project could be smart city projects, but a real city cannot be smart in 2025. And I like this model, which is old, which was published in 2011 by 2 researchers, which says that a real smart city will be at the center, at the integration of 3 components. So a real smart city initiative, a real smart city will integrate technological factor, but also human component and institutional factor. So real smart city will really build on how you integrate these technologies, but also considering human being and governance issue in your project. And in practice, you see a lot of initiative in this universe, in these 3 circles. So, and there is no judgment or no better options, but real smart city projects are actually very scarce, very rare, and that's a process. So at the Smart City Institute, we define the smart city like follows. So for us, a smart city is a multi-stakeholder ecosystem engaging the local government, citizens, citizen association, of course companies, we have been discussing that, of course, local company and also multinational, especially in the technology and in management sector companies have been involved a lot in smart city, also involving researchers, using technology and digital technologies as an enabler, to become more sustainable in the broad sense. So what I mean is to ensure, to sustain the economic development of the city, to really make sure that social well-being is there, and to protect or to ensure the conservation of natural resources. And so this means that in practice, there can be many projects in many domains, like, and Jennifer showed example, but mobility, governance, environment, smart living, etc. So, but what we do at the Smart City Institute, and I think that's why I'm here today. So the Smart City Institute was launched in 2015 based on a 5-year experience we had with different companies sponsoring us in the framework of a share. So we had a chair with, it was by that time Accenture. So what you have been telling us about the importance of big companies being involved in smart city dynamics is also part of my history. So these big companies, of course, identify a real business model and a real value for smart city. And so we decided, okay, so you are doing your business, but we decided that it would be highly relevant to complement what was done by a lot of researchers in urban studies, in data science, in computer sciences, by research and by insight on the management field. And so that's how we created the Smart City Institute. And so we are located in the business school. So I am professor of strategy and management in the business school in LIEGE. So we are in Belgium. And we have a team of between 10 and 15 people really working on the management of smart city for these last 10 years. So I'm trying to not forget to go through it. And so what we do is kind of classical in a academic world. So we do research. We have 2 parts. So we do scholar research, publications, etc. But we also have a lot of applied research projects with cities, with companies. And we really, in the core of our project, is really trying to link these 2 kinds of research. We do teaching, innovation project, etc. And for the management side, I think I want to highlight this part. Our really original focus is that we really complement research with publication in management sciences. So we are convinced that we also need to complement the research with some studies in the public management and administration, in governance, in innovation management, in strategic management. So with my team, which is a bit multidisciplinary in the sense that we are very broad in terms of within management sciences, we have been publishing in various journals using a lot of data. So our originality is also that we are not very theoretical scholar. We use a lot of empirical data that we have been collecting in Belgium, in Europe, and also a bit all around the world. And so we have been collaborating a lot with a lot of researchers worldwide to develop our research. And what I would like to share with you today is mainly what do we get from that? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not aligned with. Yeah. So I would like to share with you 5 key messages from our research. First set of messages come from 3 publications that we had. First is the Smart City label is a highly debated concept, as you mainly know. There are many views, many visions, many debates around the concept in the literature and in practice. And already 8 years ago, we published a paper with a 3RC framework, really trying to reflect on this complication of the smart city concept, but we have been also studying a lot and demonstrating a lot that now more and more a very holistic and human, people-centric approach of smart city is becoming more and more popular. So in the literature, in practice, we really see this people-centric approach of smart city rising, and digital technologies are more and more presented as a very good enabler, a good mean to reach a broader purpose, broader objective in cities. And management, the management point, is really at the crossroad of all this trigger for the moment. So my first, I'm sorry, I'm lost between both. My first message will be careful with labels. Always define what is behind a label. The smart city label, I still use it a lot, and I will use it a lot because I don't change labels and hot topics each time there is a trend. But I think it's very important to define very well what you mean by smart city. Second categories of message that come from our research and that is aligned with what Jennifer has always said. We have been doing a lot of research based on quantitative data collected in Europe, in Belgium, in Europe, with municipalities, with actors from the smart city field. And we really demonstrated, in Belgium and in Europe for sure, that smart city policies, discourse, and priorities really depend on the local specificities and on the local context. Okay, so we really demonstrate in a few empirical papers that really when the smart city agenda is set based on the local specificities and priorities, it is much stronger, it is much better to implement and to reach the objective. And we have identified a series of goals, local goals that Belgian municipalities try to reach with their smart city program, and they are very interesting and also traditional. So it could be boosting local economic development, it could be improving the effectiveness of the municipal service provision, so it could be improving communication between citizens and the local government. So there are a lot of goals, but when it is inspired by the local priorities, it is very, very powerful. So second message, for sure, based on my experience, one size does not fit all in Europe. Second set of message, sustainability has been often in the literature claimed as a expected outcome of smart city initiatives. So a lot of publications are really saying that smart cities programs should integrate and lead to sustainability objective, but there was actually very few, I would say even no research trying to see if in practice smart city initiative could be linked and could improve sustainability on territories. And so we have recently, in 2003, published a paper in ecological economics trying to link smart city projects worldwide with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And in this paper, we have demonstrated that actually in the 57 smart city programs that we evaluate worldwide, these were from big cities from all over the world, all continents, smart city strategy actually act as a driver for localizing some sustainable development goals, such as the one linked to energy, the one linked to decent work and economic growth, the one linked to industry, innovation, infrastructure, the SDG 11, but some of them, like, for example, zero hunger or others, were not naturally present in smart city program. So that was an empirical research which, for the first time, tried to link smart city and SDG. So smart city strategy actually can be linked to sustainability and to SDG localization. Fourth category of message, it's from another set of paper. It's about stakeholder collaboration. So I'm trying to, yeah. So also another very common message we have in smart city is that we need to have a collaborative, multi-stakeholder ecosystem, and that it is really at the center of smart city. But again, this is more normative from a research perspective. There are little research really trying to understand how is this multi-stakeholder, how is the city, the government collaborating with companies. And so we've seen in Belgium, in Europe, that it's not easy actually. And so that this collaboration is not smooth, that people do not speak the same languages, do not have the same expectations. And so we have tried, based on data collected in Belgium, so we have done a survey amongst all Belgian municipalities, and we collected more than 140 answers from respondents, and we have tried to identify factors that actually help to foster collaboration between actors in smart cities. And so we have then demonstrate, because it was a quantitative paper, that 3 points were really important to stimulate collaboration. First, to make it very successful, you need to involve key stakeholders since the beginning of the project. So if you wait too much and if you involve some key stakeholders too late, they are disengaged and they are even against your smart city project. A second element, which was, it's obvious for me, I am professor of strategy, but which was not at all natural, you need a smart city strategy. So what was done in Belgium, in a lot of cases, is that they say we want to become a smart city. So they are launching some initiative programs, but there is no clear vision and no clear strategy about what do we mean about smart city, what is our objective, and what is our clear strategy. And the research really demonstrates that smart city strategy really intensify collaboration and help to gather together people around the project. So we also demonstrate in this research that in large ecosystem, you need an intermediary. You need someone that is kind of orchestrator of the ecosystem, and that the mayor, or that a strong political support can really be a positive or an add-on on the project, because it really helps to have a strategic vision, if he has one, to gather the community around the project. And the last message I want to share with you after this fourth one is built on a paper that we published also 2 years ago on entrepreneurship. So we have tried in this paper, again, to link smart city with entrepreneurship, because also, that's also a very normative message we have. People say smart city can boost entrepreneurship. So there are research saying that in practice. We say that a lot, but there were also no study, no quantitative study about, okay, in the facts. And so we did also, based on Belgium, a big survey, which really show that smart city can be positively associated with the creation of new venture. So we really demonstrate in this paper that the more advanced you are in your smart city program as a territory, the more new venture creation there is on your territory. And in bigger city, it's strongly associated with the creation of digital venture. So we really observe that smart city can be a booster for new venture and create a kind of digital hub in some cities. So 5 messages. So first of all, be careful and always define what you mean by smart city. Second, one size does not fit all. We cannot replicate exactly the same all over the world, all over a continent. 3, smart city strategy can be actually a driver for SDG localization. Multi-stakeholder collaboration is really at the core. We need to understand better how to intensify and to improve collaboration. And smart city policy can boost entrepreneurship. And I will conclude by telling you that, as I said at the beginning, we have this more traditional research at the Smart City Institute, but we really try to also develop and link this more traditional message with very practical output, because we are very close from practice and from, especially in the French-speaking area. But we have been developing barometers, a lot of handbooks, a lot of generic model to help territorial actors in their smart city transition. So I won't go into them because most of them are in French, because in Belgium and in Belgium and in Wallonia, where the region I come from, most of the people on the territory don't speak English. But we are really working closely with actors to diffuse and to create concrete tools to help them in their smart city transition. So that's an example of 2 guides that we developed. So we developed the smart project management model, which help smaller or medium-sized cities to develop their smart city project. So there are some examples about how it works. And so as a conclusion, I would say, if I can in 1 minute, yes, say that my key message is that I'm still convinced that technology expertise is central in smart city, but that we also need stronger, it's not enough what I do from a scholar perspective in Liège, in Belgium. We need stronger management-oriented perspective to better understand how to help cities to design clear strategy, priorities for smart city, to monitor the impact, to see the link with entrepreneurship, value creation, to think about governance, stakeholder collaboration. So smart city will happen everywhere. So I'm kind of sure regarding the trends in which we are living. And we need to accompany this transition, keeping in mind that there is no one standard smart city, there is no one-size-fits-all model. We will need to really accompany this multi-stakeholder collaboration much better, and especially how do we integrate citizens in this program. And finally, my last words, we have been trying to really empirically demonstrate how smart city program can improve, the sustainability of a given territory or entrepreneurship on this area. So thank you for your attention. I'm happy to answer to questions, and I hope it was not too fluffy because I was a bit between 2 computers, but thank you very much.
Please join me in a big hands for